Oh, it's time for part 3, you mad bastards. See you in a mo. Battery exhausted, she says. I'm fucking exhausted. It's part 3, innit? It's part 3. Let's turn the camera off. Don't want the camera moving and people getting all car sick, do we? Welcome back to part 3 of the crazy SG build, in which we're doing a few more parts than normal because people have asked for some detail. So I'm going to put some detail in. Stay with me. I've got to do some bits on the fretboard. Let's have a little look where I've been so far. We've got a neck. It's a shape. We've got a shaped neck. Lovely. We'll come back to that. We've got a body. Shall I wipe it with naphtha so you can see some colours? Wait for it. What's he wiping that with? Naphtha, mate. Lighter fluid for the uninitiated. Anyone order a river barrel top wanna bun a sex toy? Not really a sex toy, is it? That's a sex toy. Don't ask me why that's in the workshop. It's just for comical value, isn't it? Because let's be honest, it's fucking terrifying. So we've got a body. Come back to that in a bit. We don't need that just yet. We will today though. We're gonna get this neck sat in here and get all this cut out looking like guitar shaped bits. So if you're enjoying the slower pace of video, let me know. If it makes you feel sick in the head because I'm moving too fast, don't let me know, don't care. If you've not seen it before, let's get a better angle. This is Jigus Maximus. When it comes to fret slotting, if you're one of the millions that have not watched my fret jig or my jig videos, don't blame you because they're really boring. This is a Crimson fret slotting jig. It works with a fret saw. Oh, and we can cut lots of slots. Takes a little while, wonderful bit of kit. Very expensive. On the other hand, you can get a blade from Radius Dish. Oh, I don't know if that's in focus. From radiusdish.co.uk. And you can bung it on a good quality chop saw. I put it on a shit old chop saw to start with. Disaster. Wobbly lines, not very good for frets. So these are the scale rulers that go with these. All right, there's little notches in there. Watch the jig video. But don't watch it if you're about to go out and do anything exciting because it'll just fucking drag you down. These go on here. Jigus Maximus, it's got a little tiny prick on it. Ask me how I know. With the little pins on here, I'm not going to go into it too much, but this locates, and as my saw blade goes through, whoo, in this convenient little line that I've put in, we're going to cut some fret slots. I normally do this when my neck's almost finished because I do a lot of one-piece necks, but we don't. We're doing different things at the minute. We're doing angled headstocks and some more elaborate neckage. This channel is all about the learning. I'm not a master luthier. I watch the same master luthiers that you do. Not sure master luthier is actually a real thing. Can't find any definitive evidence, but there's lots of people online that are wizards in the workshop. This channel is about my journey to becoming a wizard. I don't have to waffle some fucking crap. I've got a centre line marked on here, conveniently done off camera. I've got a centre line marked on my ruler, which is parallel. The reason I've done that is because I've cut this to rough shape and it's not square. So I just need to line up the centre lines when I fix this bugger down. This blank is a little bit too long because I'm smart. Smarter than I sound, carrot crunching prick. So I'm going to put that on a few mil overhanging. So I'll just whiz through a bit of sticky tape, double-sided sticky tape. You don't need to be shown how to do that because everyone knows how to do that now. And then we'll whiz it through the saw. That thing cuts fret slots in about a minute. These take considerably longer. Lovely, right, he's unstuck. We've got all our fret slots cut. Everything's a little bit oversized, nothing to stress about. This fret blank was a proper wobbly bastard, but I've managed to thickness it down and get it about, most fretboards are about 6, I believe Fender fretboards are about 6 mil in the center. It's what you need for a minimum. This is 6.8, so we've still got plenty of room. Plenty of room, no need to panic. Just scored my template. slotting blade. What an absolute toenail. Right, also took the liberty of cutting at the same time. I lowered the blade, I didn't put it on the camera, and I've cut me nut end. It's a Gibson style nut, it's not a Fender style nut. So because I've got me line on here, which I know where everything's going, I now know that my fretboard is gonna go there. Now we need to figure out t'other end. We need to figure out where I'm notching. The 23rd fret is dead in line with the end of my truss rod. So that's actually where I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna cut this off here. That's gonna be the length of it, and then I've got to cut a little notch. Need to make some sort of router jig for that in the future. I'll do it by hand. I'll tell you what I'll do, just to save you sanity, I won't film that bit. There we go, I've chopped him off. Woo! The end of my truss rod is 19 mil. So let's say 20 mil, shall we? Shall we allow ourselves a millimetre? Generous. With my lovely radiantools.com center finder, my new best friend, I'm going to mark 20 mil, 10 either side. I'm also going to use the truss rod to mark the depth of the slot, because that is the cleverest way of doing it. I'm now going to nibble that away gently on the bandsaw. You can get it pretty damn close on that. And then we'll do a bit of filing, a little bit of loving. Come over with me, I'll show you what I mean. Because you're obviously thinking I'm mental. Now, if I was mass producing guitars all to the same spec, naturally I would be cutting these out with a template or CNC and having all that bit incorporated in it. But for me, all the fun is in one-off builds. Unusualness. Everything lines up, tickety-boo. I think you'll agree it's a pretty simple process, isn't it? Didn't have to go over the fucking moon and back to cut a little notch out and get a fretboard on. For a lot of people, there's a lot of worry involved in the fretboard. My tip, if you're new to this game, the amount of tools you need to build a body, a lot more minimum. This is basic woodworking. Your full-on luthiery tools are all in your neck. So if you're building bit by bit, stage by stage, and you're quite new to it, but you want to have a go at a neck, save yourself 400 quid at least, and buy yourself a pre-fretted slot board. What an absolute mung bean. But I've been speaking to a very special person on Instagram. Who I'm hoping to build a guitar for. Stay tuned for that. So we've done, you can get a pre-radiused fretboard. You can get it pre-slotted. That's not cheating. You're still making a neck. You're just eliminating the need to buy all the extra tools to do all this in the meantime. If you buy a pre-slotted, pre-radius fretboard and you make yourself a guitar from scratch, out of wood and shit you find, you can still call yourself a luthier. You have made a stringed instrument. Well done you. A few little corner cuts ain't gonna fucking hurt. So that fits on there beautifully. No binding on this guitar, at least I don't think I'm gonna bind it. I wanna keep it all natural looking and woody. The next morning. Right, dilly-dally. I did some bits yesterday and I got interrupted by someone visiting the workshop. James, you know who you are. I've got to get this fretboard radiused. Simple. Got the jig. I'll take you through it. It's hell of exciting. There's lots of different ways of locating your fretboard. I've tried a few various ways. Naturally, when I glue this on, I just want to be able to locate it and then clamp it and forget about it. I've gone back to the first way I was ever shown at Crimson. The humble cocktail stick. It's perfect for this job. There's no need to be any more elaborate. I know that my nut's gonna fit in. Everything's lovely. I'm up to me line. So I've visually got that in the middle. It's very easy on this one because we've got a stripy fucking neck, haven't we? Piece of piss. I uploaded the first video of the series of this one yesterday and it's been a resounding success. Because you all love the riverness. You all love it. She is delightful, isn't she? Oh, my finger went funny there. The video after this is a charity build, so make sure you tune in for that one. That's important. The charity builds are the most important thing to me on this channel. I've got a drill bit. It's a 2.5. I haven't got a 2.2, which is what a chopstick is. It's not going to matter. I'm going to go a little bit off center. That's as technical as I'm going to get. As soon as you're through, have a little look. You don't want to go too deep because when you carve your neck, you don't want to have a fucking cocktail stick sticking at the back. I know now that when I go to glue it, bosh, I can stick a cocktail stick in there and I am located. You can do the same at the other end. Clampy, clampy, lovely, lovely. Touchy, touchy. So we're located. Let's get over to the radius jig and we'll do a bit of radiusing. Uh-oh. Smelly router. She's fucked.
It stings the nostrils.
Okay, it's the next day. I've unclamped it. We've got a giant pile of clamps. I know people like to recommend vacuum bags, but you need a bit of room for them. I haven't really got a lot of spare space. And I like to put clamps on and make sure that I'm clamped all the way along. There's nothing worse than clamping a fretboard on, taking it apart and realising you've got a gap there. It just looks shit. I'm just gonna whip this through the router table, and I'm just gonna get this fretboard nice and flush. Obviously that's got a curved bottom at the minute. It's not gonna matter. I'm just gonna put it through and hold it level. I won't film profiling that because we've got to fit a lot into this video because I don't want anyone getting fucking impatient. What a fucking mess. That was a lovely chemical. Don't know why so many accents happen around here. There's some things you do on building sites when you're a carpenter. You're talking stupid accents, or at least we used to, and you give your handsaw ladies' names. My current handsaw is called Brenda. No idea, never met a Brenda. It just seems like a good name for a saw. We're all a bit fucking mad. Of course we are. Just when I'm on my own in the workshop, no one's holding me back. So we've got a nice flushed fretboard on there. Everything's snippeted, lovely jubbly. Slots are all cut lovely and deep and perfect. So now I've got to get this in my neck jig, which is not designed for angled headstocks, but I'll work around that. Get this supported flat with no tension on the truss rod. I don't want that doing anything. We'll get it supported, and then I'm going to use a sanding block to flatten this fretboard out. Simple little thing really. As long as we get it all locked in and beautiful, then I know that when I'm pushing down, we're not deflecting anything. That's the international symbol for deflection. It's fucking not, but there you go. So let's get it on. I'm going to speed that little bit up because, yeah, I need to get it set up. There's going to be about half an hour of tinkering going on while the camera's off, and I'll come back, maybe, with a semi.
Come again.
So I had a little tiny low spot there and there. I cut the fret slots before I radiused it. Perhaps I shouldn't have done that. I'll do it the other way around next time because it wanted the fretboard to curl up. It naturally wanted to do that. So when you stick it down with double-sided tape and all the rest of it, it's not perfect. And I think that's where I went wrong. So I just had to sand the life out of that. 80 grit on Fat Willie and fucking half an hour of grueling. Luckily, we had plenty of room, so it's all good. That is looking rather pleasant. Whoa. So we're trimmed up, we're ready to go, we're ready for some inlays. I think that's an interesting bit, isn't it? We'll get some inlays on, and then we'll get a pocket cut in the body, and we'll marry these two pieces together. This series could well be 5 parts. Some people moan that there's not 4. Other people moan that there's not 7. You can't win as a YouTuber, and that's fine. I'm not trying to win. Just trying to be entertaining, that's all. I don't care how this goes, as long as I don't have to carry on fitting fucking kitchens. We've had enough of fitting kitchens, Fred, haven't we? Yeah, we've had enough of fitting kitchens, thank you very much. Get Fred there in his uniform. He's a boy, isn't he? He'd do anything to get out of Rose's hair. What were we doing with inlays on this one? I think we were going for aluminium beautifulness.
One eternity later.
Right, back in the room. Lots of stopping and starting today, innit? I've cut out a little bit of shit because we're trying to ram it all in. But I had a little change of heart on my way through, and I used some lollipop sticks. Lollipop sticks, you mad prick. Yes, lollipop sticks. And I just filled, because they were maple. So I filled the inner rings with maple. And that, I think you'll agree, looks rather pleasant. It's a bit of a classy look, actually. A little bit classy. Oh man, have you got any of them little ones? Oh, and we're ringing.
Hello, Penis Enlargement Clinic.
That was me mate, Captain Coleslaw. Why do we call him Captain Coleslaw? Because he's 5% fucking cabbage. Okay, so you need a line in the middle of your fretboard. There we go, a bit more sanding required, but we've got our dots and we've got some nice abalone dots. They're not too big, I think they fit in quite nicely there. So far, so good. We've got a straight neck, we've got angled fretboard, we've got some inlays, we're looking good. We're getting somewhere, I'm starting to relax, and that's normally a fucking dangerous time. Holy Mother Mary of Jesus, I was just getting stuck into this, getting a little bit excited, and I realised I wasn't filming. That's not very good, is it? I have to film. I'm gonna bring little Dave round so you can have a little close look at what I'm doing. Because this bit baffles a few people. You would be amazed how many guitar necks have missed the centre line of the body. But most of the time, you wouldn't notice. A millimetre off centre for a bridge, no one's ever gonna know. And it is really common, especially boutique-y stuff. So what I've got here, I've got a couple of lines which are 64mm apart off my centre line, which you can't really see the centre line, but I can see it, so you just have to believe me. That's a little bit narrower than I need, because what I'm basically going to do, I'm going to hold these straight edges on, so my neckline goes all the way through here, and I can actually see in here, I can see both of those pencil lines. So I can just tap the head of my neck if I need to make any adjustment. I'm dead on the centre line here with this bit of wenge. Old English, it was called wenge back in the ye olde days, and that's what I've always called it. The internet is mixing words all over the world, and now everyone likes a bit of wenge, don't they? Or wengy. So whatever one floats your boat, it's fine with me. Now the difference here is I've got this cheeky little number, and I've got an hole in it where I've had to mount it to other jigs. I'm going to use that now. I'm going to put a pilot screw through there, and I'm going to hold this neck in place, which is nice. That's a little bonus I haven't normally got. We're only screwing into what's going to be the humbucker cavity anyway. Screwing into barrels always interesting. Look in there! All over the shop. My first ever Telecaster build, believe it or not, I fucked up the ferrule drillings on the front because it was into barrel. And young Tom had to come and rescue me. Bless him. Bless him, what a boy. So I'm on my centre line. Let's get some little bits taped on. Right now, and this is where I'll be completely honest with you, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to have a little check to make sure that I'm lining up on the bottom. If I'm not, we'll have to just take this apart and have another crack and find out where the issue is. But we can find out together. I'm about half a mil out. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? So that's fine, we've checked, we know what the crack is. I'm going to take this apart, I'm going to shift this over and we'll go again. Good job we checked that, innit? Right, I'm going to readjust this, get it lined up. You've seen how I've done it, and then we'll be over for a little bit of a quickie bicky and a bit of drilling, sticky vicky, and a bit of routering. Woo! And then we'll have a body and a neck and hopefully a nice tight neck pocket, because that's a YouTube thing, innit? You can have a tight neck pocket so everyone can get a little bit sticky. See you in a minute. Right, so we're back on the bench. We're routed out. All that shit your pants bit. Scary proposition, that, wasn't it? I've gone to put him in here and he is a bit snug, which is what you want. We want it a bit snug. For anyone who's wondering what method I'm using, the neck pocket is square and flat, and I'm going to angle my neck. People suggest doing it other ways. Most people put an angled neck pocket in, but I'm thinking this is going to be much easier to cut. I've got to cut this down to size. And I think that's going to be much easier to do on my chop saw with a perfectly good blade. I can just whip through that and get that very close. But we'll have a little look. If that's wrong, it's wrong. We'll get the right result, but probably next time I'll try it the other way round. It's the evolution, really. When I built the Rev Star, I cut a perfectly nice shim, a 2 degree. It was like 1 mil to nothing shim, and I glued that in with the neck. It's all getting glued in together. It really didn't make any bloody difference. That guitar was a belter in the end. This one, we're going to go square neck pocket, angled neck. Next one, and there's lots of this style coming up this year. You'll be crying out for a fucking Fender. We'll do it every which way, and you can make your mind up which way you prefer. I've got a nice new bit of sandpaper. Literally a few passes on each side. I'm going to keep it a bit snug like that for a minute because I've got to chop a bit off the bottom, and we'll wait until I've done the final height. Naturally, that's a bit high, isn't it? But for the minute, it's nice and snug, and I can just check that I'm nicely lined up on the back, and I'm right, within a smidgen. We're pretty well lined up there. That's looking pretty sexy, isn't it? I think that's a win. It's a very win. Needs a bit more sanding. I've battered the shit out of that. So we've got a neck attached to a body. We're starting to show where we're going, which is awesome. I think I'm going to call it a day on the video. I think that'll do. Come back next week and we'll do some more. My order books are getting really busy. If you've got a commission build idea, please get hold of me, milostudios@hotmail.com. The email address is below the videos or on my homepage. If you get hold of me on Instagram, that's fine, but I will redirect you to Hotmail because it's a nightmare to manage else. And if you've got crazy ideas and you're up for it, just get in contact because, yeah, I'm loving it. Thank you very much for everyone who watches, and thanks for everyone that's ordering the guitars because that's what makes the difference. We're going to go balls deep on this. I'll see you next week. Your support is always massively appreciated. And just as a little leaving gift, a word of advice from a subscriber. Thanks, Samantha, for sending this in. Here's a little bit of advice from Lee Harvey. Classic bit of advice, almost like it came from my own chops. See you next week, everyone.